long time ago somebody said something about making rice wine. Well, guess what? Today we're making rice wine. What you're going to need is some glutinous rice. I'm making 2 kilos worth of rice wine, 2 kilos of dry rice. And you'll also need some of these bad boys. These are Chinese wine yeast balls. The thing about these is they're not just yeast, they also have some sort of mold in there which breaks down the starch into sugars which the yeast can eat. So if you try to use regular old yeast, you may not be successful. You're going to need yourself a vessel. I'm using an old pretzel bottle. And today I'll be showing you how to make this normal version of rice wine, which I would call Huangjiao, maybe. But I'm also going to be doing 2 experimental versions, not really experimental. One is my wife's recipe, and one is using non-glutinous rice. But I'll show you how to do this one clearly, okay? So, step one. Cook your rice. However you cook your rice. I use a rice cooker, which is in the kitchen. I'm in the garage. My garage rice cooker is in the shop. So I'm going to go cook this in the kitchen. You'll just hang tight. Alright, we're back. This has cooled down, so it's just a little bit warmer than room temperature. You can wait a little longer if you want to. Here's a big packet of those balls that I'm using in case you're looking for them in a shop. They'll be in an Asian grocery store. Here's some from another packet. What we're going to do is crush these up into a powder. Why don't they come as a powder? I ask on you. I ask on you. I don't know. It'd be a good idea. You can eliminate this step, but everywhere I've seen them, they are balls. Okay. They're quite hard. Alright, now I've got this as a powder. I'm going to tip it into the rice, like that. Whoa, it is coming up as a dust. Now stir it all in. Some people spread it out on a big tray, but I'm kind of a fan of not doing many dishes. So just stir this in as best as you can with a nice clean spoon. This is my brewing spoon, which I broke this morning. And what I think I might have to do is get up on my knees, because this is very high and I feel really unco. Ugh. Can you still see my head? It's totally worth seeing. Okay, when you're pretty happy that that's mixed up fairly well, and you're just kind of sick of dropping it all over the place, put it into your fermentation vessel, which you have thoroughly cleaned. Like so. I use this, and I use this. This is the 3rd time I've done this today, so.
Sort of getting a method down.
Really? You can't tell? No, you can't. There we go. It's very sticky. It's sticky. In Australia we call it sticky rice, or Australia. Well, in Australia I call it something completely different. What do you call it now? Something else? Steaming.
Careful not to spit into it. Careful not to breathe on it and make it dirty, because you want everything to be very clean. Once I was brewing this stuff and I saw some little black mold start forming on the top, and I quickly got a clean spoon and scooped it out and continued, and it turned out fine. So if you see anything like that, well, use your best judgment. You'll notice I haven't put any water in yet. It's a dry fermentation. Well, it's, as dry as that. It's about 30 degrees here right now, Celsius. And this garage should stay at approximately that temperature for the duration. Is that ideal? It's fine. Don't need that bit. It's very sticky. I shouldn't have even touched it with my hands. Alright. Let that sit a bit, and I've got a lid. Put a lid on so it's on, but not super tight. See, so I've made it tight, boop, made it a little bit loose, boop, okay, a little bit loose. Put that someplace to ferment, out of sunlight, and we'll check back on it on a few days. It'll be the most interesting thing you've ever seen. Now, I said I was making 3 different ones today. What we just saw is the normal way. These are my experimentals. P, that's for plain rice. I'm using the normal rice that you'd eat for dinner, not glutinous rice. See how it goes. And this one, jar S, plus S. This is my wife's mother's recipe, which is when this is done fermenting, add sugar. So it's just started fermenting, I just did it today. We'll do this later. Normal glutinous rice, we're gonna add sugar when it's finished its fermenting. And we'll put them all someplace to wait. All right. Okay, so this is 5 days later. This is pretty much what you want to see. We didn't add any more water, but the liquid is separated from the rice. That's beer. That's irrelevant to our video. So you can see the reflection of the beer bubbles. But if you look at this closely, there's liquid in between the rice, and you'll see bubbles moving up. So that's our normal one. Now you might be able to see a bit of white mold on the top. That's good, that's normal. If there was black mold, you should be worried, which there is not. So there you go. I put that in on Wednesday, it's now Monday morning. All right, this is day 8. And I should have done this yesterday, but what I'm gonna do is add water. So just add some clean water. This has been boiled, but has been allowed to cool. And just fill that up. It'll get into the cracks and stuff. It's still very actively fermenting is what I'm trying to say. All right, that'll start to float in a little while. Anyhow, and now just put the lid back on and let it continue to go. Okay, I'm just about to bottle this one. You know it's ready to bottle when the bubbles stop coming up. So just look at it every day or every couple days, and when it stops bubbling, then it's ready to bottle. Okay, I just got water in my camera. My assistant has just left to keep my baby quiet, so I'm using rubber bands instead of an assistant. Actually, I like the rubber bands better. So what I've got here is a bunch of sterilized bottles. I got this sort of useless shower cap with holes in it. It's a net with elastic on it, but the elastic is too small. So I'm going to put this on here. There are better ways of doing this, by the way. Can you see that? I'm going to put this on here. I'm going to put my assistant right here. I've got a funnel, is that what it's called? Yes, it's called a funnel. Pour that in. Oh yeah, hey, that's fast. Smells right. I can't really, sort of a sour smell, I suppose. Oh, spilling a little bit. My nose is really itchy. Okay. Hey, that worked pretty damn well. So much better than my assistant. She can go to, oh no, okay. Ooh, if I press record. So the rice will tend to clog up this net. I saw someone else put the rice in the bag, like for the whole fermentation, that would be better. But I didn't have a bag when I started, or I don't have one now either. Keep doing this until all the alcohol is poured out, and then you can even squeeze the rice to get more out of it once it's in your bag. Is it recording? It is, it is. This video is for all those people that always complain that I don't use glass bottles as well. After a million complaints, I'm like, alright then. Drop it. Oh, good save. Sort of. Ah. You can probably see that's very cloudy right now, like the sun's not shining through it, but that will all settle down. I'm using this lever, or lever if you will. That is sealed. I might just wash this crud off. I didn't say crud, I said mud. And you're rich too. And the other one, and the other one. Put them somewhere for about 2 weeks and then we'll try them out. Okay, it's months later. Months and months. So, but anyway, these are finished. I've got the S here, which is the S is for sugar, SD is for standard, P is for plain rice. So let's try them all. I've chilled them in the refrigerator. Ooh, that's a good color. This is the normal one, which is what I showed you how to make. Standard recipe. And it looks remarkably similar. Now this is the one with plain rice. I know some people want to know if you can use plain rice. And they look exactly the same. These two have got kind of little tiny bubbles in them. So let's try them. I'll start with the normal one. Smells good. Smells sour and like rice wine. If you've ever had fresh rice wine, I mean, not like distilled rice wine. You know what I'm talking about. Tastes strong. It tastes really strong. good. Fine. Okay. This one was the sugar one, right? I've mixed them up. I've shuffled them already. Ooh, much stronger flavor. I don't know if I can taste some sort of bitterness in there. Is that right? Now this is the one with plain rice. Far more mellow. And I've spilt it already. Well, Ati-welity. Some Chinese people, I mean, they often water it down and they often add sugar as well when they drink it. Some of my videos, a lot of them are about China or recipes in China or whatever. And people are like, no, that's wrong. You're doing it wrong. You said it wrong. You did it wrong. The thing is about China, it's so big that, you know, if you've been to 1 or 2 or 5 places, you haven't seen it all. In fact, no one's seen it all. And it's different everywhere. I don't know if I've mentioned that before. It's really a good thing about going to China, is because it's different everywhere. Anyway, that's pretty good. Which is my favorite? I think these two, the flavor is too strong. I think when I'm finished these, I'm going to try it with ice to sort of water it down. You know what's crazy? I think the plain one's my favorite. This one took about, these two took about 6 weeks to bottle. It just takes a long time. It ferments for ages and ages and ages. I mean, beer will take like 3 to 5 days, right? Probably like 4 or 5 days. 4 to 6. Whatever! I don't know what I'm going to do with all this wine that I've opened. These are 750 mils each. I'm trying to cut back. Not on rice wine in particular, just on alcohol. Let's try it with some ice. Is it a cocktail? Sure. I just invented a new type of cocktail. Well, in my head, this isn't it. I just invented one in my head. It's just heaps of different types of beers mixed together. That's a stupid idea. But I do have good ideas. And I notice that if I don't jump on my good ideas, someone takes them before I do and become bazillionaires. And even if I do jump on them, no, if I do jump on them, I probably don't pull them off well enough. Because I'm not a bazillionaire. I've got half a bazillion. It looks good, doesn't it? Looks like it's glowing. So we haven't made any movies, video films. We haven't made any videos for a long time, mostly because we've moved and just our life is all over the place. We had some videos that were half done making and we sort of had to abandon them. One of them was my magnum opus. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. It was a long video. You sat through it, or maybe you didn't, and if you didn't, well, I can understand. Would I? What was I going to say? I was going to say that I'm, and that fits perfectly with what I was going to say. I was going to say I'm not even sure if I've finished a sentence today or ever. And it'll have its problems, and there'll be people go, oh, you can't do that because of this and that, and this and that, and this and that. And that's true for now. And you'd be like, wow,